Hello and welcome to my reflection for the final week of the Peaceful Warrior immersion. Similarly to last week, I was only able to come to school for 3 days this week because we had a snow day on Wednesday and on Friday, but I still feel like I managed to get a lot out of the little time that we actually had. So, meditation. This week, we did several different types of meditation. So on Monday, we had two fairly normal 25-minute sits. But between those two sits, we had a walking meditation. So for me, the walking meditation was really cool since I had no idea of what to expect. And that reminded me of just the general experience of the first couple of days of our immersion. And the clap at the end really startled me just because, again, I had no idea of how we were going to end the meditation. So, yeah. Another type of meditation that we tried this week was an earth meditation, in which we started out lying on our backs and imagined slowly sinking into the earth and ended in a standard seated position. So for me, the feeling of sinking into the earth was extremely calming. Also, I don't really remember moving into the seated position. I just remember that at the end of the meditation, I noticed that I wasn't lying down anymore. So that was cool. I also meditated once by myself for 41 minutes during the snow day on Wednesday, and we meditated as a group for 25 minutes on Thursday. Even though the sit that I did by myself was much longer than the 25-minute sit that we did as a group, it felt like it went by a lot faster since there wasn't any noise coming from other immersions or people moving, and also I was probably better rested, so those are both factors, but I just feel like I got a lot more out of the solo sit. So during the snow day on Wednesday and on Thursday evening, I watched the second and third Matrix movies to try to build off of some of the stuff that we talked about as a group from the first Matrix. So since I was watching it alone, I probably missed out on many of the deeper meanings of the two movies, but I still feel like I was able to find some ideas from both Western and Eastern philosophies. So from what I was able to decode in The Matrix Reloaded, there was a much larger focus on some Western ideas such as determinism, existentialism, morality, and ethics. Also, I did find some Eastern ideas such as Neo's choice to not do what the previous versions of the One had done at the climax of the movie, which sort of reminded me of the Buddha achieving nirvana, since by not repeating an old choice, he was able to stop the cycle and ultimately end the war. So for me, the one part of the beginning of the Matrix Revolutions, where Neo sees that a family of machines and realizes that the machines are capable of some uniquely human emotions, reminded me of our discussion of the Dalai Lama saying that we're all the same. We all same. Since even though most people would say that people have nothing in common with machines, there might be more similarities than we're willing to look for. So that was sort of an interesting tie-in with the rest of our immersion. So from watching all three movies, I would say that Neo best fits the wind element on the mandala due to his willingness to sacrifice himself at the end of the third movie for the benefit of everyone else. So this week at the dojo, we started off the week by working on Void, which is a combination of all four elements. For me, being able to choose which element would be most effective in any given situation seems like a very useful skill to have. So yeah, that was cool, getting to decide whether we needed to do an earth, water, fire, or wind events, depending on what the opponent was doing. So after our day of void training, we began training for our graduation, So our preparation for graduation was really hard since we were constantly either blocking, hitting, or just like doing reps of exercises. So even though I really wanted to keep going like everyone else was, eventually I just had to stop due to my asthma, so that was sort of sad. But oh well. So on our last day at the dojo, we had our graduation, which was just a lot less strenuous than the the preparation that we had done, but a lot more gratifying since like we received yellow white belts, so that was cool. So one thing about the graduation, which for me was really cool, was that when we went outside to burn our intention sticks, I didn't even notice that it was cold outside until we were about to go inside. So like even though like even before like the fire, even before we set the fire and like after the fire went out, it was still like pretty nice. So that was good. Okay, so due to the snow days and 2 hour delays we had this week, we were only able to do yoga once this week. So, and also, even though I really wanted to do a lot of the positions, I was just physically unable to do some of like the even of like the basic positions because I was still super sore from the preparation we had done for the graduation 2 days earlier. So yeah, it was just sort of sad that I couldn't get the most out of like the last day that we did yoga. So yeah, similarly to yoga, we also were only able to do archery once this week, and because it was super windy and I was super focused on trying to not lose any arrows and sort of in my left brain, I feel like I shot a lot worse than I would have if I had just been in the moment like the last couple times we shot. So yeah, I sort of wish we had more time to wrap up our immersion, just because with the snow days, it just seemed like we just had a very abrupt ending, so that wasn't that good. But yeah, overall, it's been a really, really good experience. I just wish we had a little bit more time.